who shot my father dead while he was working, if you have the guts and courage, come in front and have a debate, have a face-to-face debate with us.
That was the anger of her daughter, whose father was killed in Kashmir. Her father was Makkan Lal Bindro, a very prominent Kashmiri Pandit and a pharmacist who was shot dead in Srinagar. Besides that, a woman principal, a teacher, they were also shot dead at point-blank range inside a government school in Srinagar recently. Because of these attacks on the minority community, on the Kashmiri Pandits in the valley, they're all fear-stricken. It's triggered also another fresh exodus with scores of families now leaving the valley. So then will history repeat itself? Let's tell you exactly what had happened 31 years ago, and is that going to happen again? Raleef, Saleef, Ya Galeef. That means either convert to Islam, leave the land or die. These words were echoed on the night of January 19th, back in 1990. The cold, dark night had stirred into life the worst possible nightmares for Kashmiri Pandits who were living in the valley. Screaming from loudspeakers and crowded streets was the message for the Sikhs and Hindus who were living in Kashmir. So why did Kashmiri Pandits pack up and leave? It all had started much before what happened in January 1990. Back in September 1989, when Pandit political activist Tika Lal Taplu was shot dead by armed men outside his residence. Neelkant Ganju, a retired judge who had sentenced Makbul Bhatt, a radical separatist, to death, was shot dead outside the Jammu and Kashmir High Court in Srinagar. This happened a few months later on November 4th. Then you had journalist lawyer Prem Nath Bhatt, who was shot dead in Anantnag on December 27th. Now, the hit list of Kashmiri Pandits was clearly in circulation, and waves of panic for obvious reasons hit the community, especially after a local newspaper published an anonymous message, allegedly from the Hizbul Mujahideen, asking Pandits to immediately leave. On the night of 19th January 1990, all hell broke loose in what's called the heaven of earth. Massive crowds then assembled in mosques across the valley. They were seen shouting anti-India, anti-Pandit slogans. The exodus of Kashmiri Pandits had officially begun then. In the next few months, hundreds of Kashmiri Pandits, innocent ones, were tortured, were killed. There were even horrifying stories of rape. By the year end, about 350,000 Pandits had managed to escape from the valley. They took refuge in Jammu and elsewhere. They were forced to flee from their homes. Only a handful of them decided to stay back. But this fight didn't end in those 3 to 4 months. Few years later, March 1997, terrorists dragged out 7 Kashmiri Pandits from their homes. This happened in Sangrampura village and gunned them all down. The saga continued for many years, till 2000. The other debatable question about the exodus is the role played by the administration in all of this, and more specifically, that of the Jammu and Kashmir Governor Jagmohan. Newly appointed, he had arrived in Srinagar on January 19th. The Kashmiri Muslim view of the exodus is that he had actually encouraged Pandits to flee, to leave the valley. According to them, he gave a communal color to what was, until then, a non-religious Kashmiri cause. Many alleged that he actually engineered the exodus to defame the separatist movement. This is what some of the locals say. Now, the Kashmiri Hindu think otherwise and deny this complete interpretation. They believe that Kashmiri Muslims, with whom they had lived amicably for centuries, drove them out with a vengeance. India has seen several changes since that fateful night in 1990. New governments have come and gone, multiple developments have come forth, but scores of Kashmiri Pandits who were chased out of their homes have still not been able to find a way back.